All right, my high elves are undefeated. They have beaten everybody from shadow stalkers to ratmen, um, and so they are the measure of how good an army is. They're just very, very tough. The way that I set them up is I have my warriors here, 10 warriors, just straight up 10 attacks, full command. But they're joined to a high noble who's going to give them three. He's got three quality, which is pretty important because whenever you do a morale check, you look at his, and then you've got the banner. So that really helps. Makes it basically a 2-up in order to fail to pass your morale check. In addition, he gives 3 attacks, AP1. I put high prowess on him, which is going to give them +1 to hit in melee. So he's going to be a 2-up, and they're going to be a 3-up. So they're pretty glass cannony. They're going to come in and do a fair amount of damage. 10 attacks hitting on 3s. That's good for the amount of points that I spent on them, 115. Then we've got the Phoenix Warriors. They're the guys that are going to hang in a battle the longest. They have regeneration. I have Musician Banner, no standard, even though it's going to be modeled with a standard. And they have AP1 Rending. So they're good against the bigger units. Lion Warriors are more of the chaff terror-uppers. They get 2 attacks. They hit on 3 just like the Phoenix Warriors. Really, everybody's going to be hitting on 3 now. And they're fearless and protected. So I hope I didn't mess that up. Anyway, Shadow Sisters, they hit on 3s. They have a range of 18 with Rending, but their main thing is that, first of all, they hit on 3s, which is really good, but also they're quick shots, so they can move a full 12-inch move and then shoot. Then I've got my Dragon Cavalry with a High Noble. The High Noble doesn't give them anything specific except for 3 extra attacks, AP1 with Lance, so little extra AP, not going to need it against the Wood Elves. Dragon Cavalry, High Noble, quality of 3, they hit or they defend on 3. Plus they get impact, so that gives them some more hits when they go charging in. So Lance plus the impact, that whenever they charge, they're going to destroy everything. So they're very good, high quality units. Nothing real special or tricksy about them. They're just going to come in and wreck face. So that's their main thing. Very standard, straightforward army, which is why I think it's a good measure of how good your army is. Then for my Wood Elves, I've got Treeman Elder to Treeman. I've got 10 Treemen here. They get 1 attack, AP1. Their weakness is that they're quality 5, defense 5, but they are furious and they have Strider. All my Wood Elves have Strider, and I love Strider. I think it is the best ability you can have on an army. But we'll see how well they do. The Treeman Elder is actually a caster, and so my strategy is to save up, to hold my fire on the first round, save up the 2 points so that I can use regrowth and get a +1 to the roll. After that, then maybe just some cleanup with some damage spells here to, if there's anybody with 1 or 2 guys left in a unit that need to be cleaned up. Then I have a Glade Leader attached to Glade Defenders. They're just standard 4/5, pretty Elvian type of unit here. Again, I don't know if I messed up in the game. It's only supposed to have a banner, not supposed to have a champion, so that probably gets messed up. But they get 1 attack, whereas the leader gets 3 attacks. He does have Battle Call, so if they're inside terrain, then they'll get +1 to hit on their rolls, which is kind of like what the High Elves have, but it's conditional. So sometimes you're good, sometimes you're not. So these conditional things I'm not so big on. And so that's battle calls. Of course, he has Strider, tough, 3 attacks, no AP. So he's pretty much just like a regular elf, except he has some leadership abilities under certain conditions. Glade Scouts are kind of the counter to the those sisters. They get 1 attack. They don't have rending. They only hit on 4s, not 3s. They don't get to move their full movement. However, they do have Strider, and they have Stealth, and they have Scout. So they're going to get into a forest and just start plunking people from there. So they're more defensive than the sisters are, but not as hard hitting. Then I got my Treeman Brutes. They're stacked really to go after very big or very small creatures with the rending. You could do damage to some very heavy monsters, but really the 4 attacks is where they're going to shine. They get 12 attacks on the hit. They're Furious, Strider, Tough, Quality 4, Defense 3. I'm really not pleased about the whole Defense 5. Even though they're Tough 3, they should get like Regeneration or something to help them out on defense. When I remember Warhammer Fantasy, I remember the I think they were, what were they called? Whatever the version of the Treeman Brutes, or Treekin, I think they were called. They were tougher. They were harder to destroy. They were the counter to the squishy elves, and I like that. But here it's almost the opposite. Their defense is just as bad as elves, just as bad as Treemen. So wondering about that. But we'll see how it all shakes out when all the units come out. And then one of my favorites, the Giant Owls. They are really good for 155 points. Quality 4, Defense 4, Tough 3. They're fast. They fly. The Impact 2 is really good. They don't have very good attacks, though. 3 rending attacks. Not a lot. They're going to do most of their damage on the impact, and they really lend credence to the Wood Elves being the maneuver elves. The Wood Elves in GW were more of the shooty elves, but these guys are the maneuver elves. Alright, so I have a real challenge for my Wood Elves here. The Wood Elves handled the Shadow Stalkers very well. So now I'm bringing out the champs, the High Elves. And here I've got my Phoenix Guard, Phoenix Warriors, Lion Warriors, regular Warriors with a leader that's going to give them let's see, high prowess. So instead of being hitting on 4s, they'll hit on 3s. Then I've got the sisters that are awesome, and the dragon cavalry with a leader that's going to give them high prowess. No, I'm sorry. He's just a leader. He doesn't give them anything. They don't need anything. You got lances. So yeah, you don't need high prowess with lances, because when you charge, they're already hitting at a 3. Lances make it a 2 and give a armor piercing of 1. So they're the main thing. Now, I played a practice game before this game just to kind of get a feel for it, and these sisters were wiping everybody out, and the Treekin were wiping everybody out because I started learning about flanking a little bit better. So we set it up here. I am not quite using AI for the High Elves. They were all over the place, but basically the way that I set these guys up is have a clear line of sight for them. These guys are going to come in and do damage, and then these guys are going to swing around to where they're needed or where they find an advantage. So the Wood Elves do get the first turn, and what they're going to do is they're going to move up their Treeman Brutes up 12 inches. to here. Now the High Elves, not sure who to go first, so we'll do it randomly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's going to be the sisters. So the sisters are going to move up 12 because they can move up 12 and shoot 24 inches. So they could hit the brutes, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So kind of regret sending out my brutes, but we'll see how the sisters do. They hit on 3s, and they have rending, if I'm not mistaken. So the Shadow Sisters, yes, 1 shot each, hitting on 3s, and they have rending. So we got 2 rends, and they all hit. So these guys only have a defense of 5, which I think is an oversight. They should be tougher, but they need 6s, and they get 1, and then 5s, and they get 1 more. So they take 3 damage, which means 1 of the brutes is destroyed. I'm telling you, these Shadow Sisters, they are really good at killing. All right, so now the Wood Elves get to go, and even though I prefer to go after these scouts, are just going to go straight after the Shadow Sisters, even though I don't like going after already activated, but they're all going to be activated. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hitting on 4s, and there's 1 hit. Now the Shadow Sisters only defend on 5, and they get it. So these guys are not very useful. All right, so we'll go with 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's a reroll. 2. So the Warriors go next. They're going to move 12. And sometimes I would not move the full 12, but they are in range of this objective, so they're good to go. So that takes care of the Warriors. I don't have any more shooting, and I'm going to hold off using the spell here because I want to get more power. And so these Warriors are going to move up right next to these guys. And really, doesn't matter who goes here. We'll send these guys up here. They're done. Send these guys up here. And they are on the objective. Now I would move the Warriors first. So let's go ahead and move them up here. And finally for the Wood Elves, they are going to go ahead and take their full 16 move. It's going to put them right about there. So they can contest this objective. Now I believe the Dragon Princes should be able to get there. They also have a 6, yes. So they will contest this objective here. So that's the end of round 1. Let's just be official here. And so the sisters were able to take out a brute, which is a pretty big deal. We'll give number 5. Is this 5? This is 5 right here. To them. 3 is contested. And 4, with my fancy new Wood Elf objectives, they are now taking objective 4. So that's the end of round 1. The Wood Elves activated first, the High Elves activated last, so the Wood Elves are going to get to go first. And they're going to get 2 more spell tokens right here. And so are they within range? What they would like to do is, they're out of charge range here. Okay, so everybody's out of charge range except for these guys here. I think what I have to do is use my owls, even though they don't have regeneration, to just go ahead and hit these guys before they get lanced to death. Alright, so the high elves are going to have heavy armor. This is not a good... actually, what I'm going to do... put these guys back here. Actually, what I'd like to do with the owls is go after somebody else. Clog up their middle, maybe. I'll be giving up this flank here to the dragon princes, and that's not going to be fun. However, if I could take out the shadow sisters, I can create a whole new flank. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and let's see if I can complete, since I'm fly, I don't have to go very far, so we'll start here. That's 10 inches, and then 6 inches. Yes, sir. I can even flank them. And so here's one of the cool things about the new movement rules. I move 10 inches this way, pivot, I'm still flying, and then hit them right in the flank. So they should get wiped out. We'll see how this technique does. And so I've got 10 impact hits. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And all but 1 hit. And this should wipe out the sisters because they defend on 5s. They do pretty good, but still it's 5 just on the impact alone. So the sisters are wiped out. After what they did in the practice game, I really needed to do that. And so now I can move 3 inches straight forward, or I can pivot. And let's see. I do not want to get flanked by the horses. So I'm going to pivot and then just make sure I'm an inch away. See, I can get flanked there. I'd rather get flanked by these guys than by the horses. So I'm going to just go there. Alright, so these guys are used up, and now it's up to the high elves. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 is going to be these guys here. They are going to offer a flank. Alright, so this is going to be interesting because they could get flanked pretty much by everybody. So if I just go like this and get into the zone and slightly tilt, so it'll be tougher for them to get a flank off. And if they do, these guys can charge. Alright, so those guys are used up. Yeah, this is much harder to do solo, I think. If you just do regular Age of Fantasy, soloing is a bit easier. Alright, so now these guys are out of range. Oh, 16 inches? Is it within 16? Regrowth, 12 inches. Okay, so these guys are out of range for spells. So what I want to do, 12 inches, yes, so the Treeman Brutes are within range. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use all three. It's 3 for the spell, and then 1 to boost it. So I need a 3 for the regrowth, and I get a 3. So that means regrowth goes off, and all 3 of these have regeneration. Alright, so now, I could flank these guys. I have no other charges. I can't get to them. That's not going to quite reach. I'm going to go ahead and just do the flank charge on the Phoenixes. And see how that goes. Alright, so I get, for the Treeman, 1 attack AP1, they're furious. They hit on 5s. So needing 5, 6s for furious. So I did get a furious. Let's see. So 3, so it becomes 4 hits, AP1. And they defend on a 4, which now becomes a 5. So they block 2, so 2 die. So they're going to lose 2 Phoenix Warriors. And then the leader, the Treeman Elder, gets 4 rending attacks, and he's also furious. And he gets off a furious and a rend. Okay, so it becomes 2 regular hits and 1 rending. So, oh, those 2 that died, they get regeneration. And they stand right back up. But let's see, the rending doesn't work for them, so they need 5s here. They get 1 and then a 6. And then, okay, so those 2 end up dying anyway. They don't get to counterattack, and they are above half strength. So normally they would be on a 3, but because they're being flanked, it's now 4. So we'll roll for them. And they fail, so they don't run away, but they are now pinned, shaken, whatever it is. Alright, so I didn't destroy them, so I got my flank totally exposed there. So it makes sense for the warriors to just go ahead and flank these guys right here. Although, see, the terrain is in the way of the Dragon Princes. So even though they're going to own that, they're just in no man's land because of this terrain right here, which is going to slow them down. So we want to send our warriors into this flank. These guys are going to go into their flank next turn. Alright, so the warriors, with their extra high prowess, they're going to hit on 3s, and they get 1 attack each, so that's 10 attacks. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Needing 3s. And they hit almost every one. These dice are great. I don't like the other dice. Alright, so that's how many hits they get, and then I'll do the noble in a second. The Treemen have regeneration. However, they only defend on 5s. So, and then their regen So they regen one more, so they're going to take, what was that, 6? They're going to lose 6. Not to mention, so that's going to take off this whole row. And that guy is hanging on for dear life. So now they're down to half, and we didn't even do the Noble yet. Noble gets 3 attacks. Does he get high prowess too? I believe so. Let's just double check. This model unit gets +1, so he hits on 2s with AP1. Misses 1, so AP1 means they go on 6s. They get 1 and then regen. Nope. So 1 more of these guys die. Now they are flanked. They roll on 5s, so they need a 6 to stick. They didn't get it, so they run away. So that flank attack really didn't work out for the Wood Elves. I'm telling you, the High Elves are just so good. And we take out these guys. So now we go back to the Wood Elves. And the Brutes, I believe, can do a flank attack on them. So let's do the check here. They can move 8 inches, and yeah, and then they slide over. So that's what we'll do. We'll take the Brutes, and we'll go ahead and flank. These poor Phoenix Guard are getting flanked all over the place. These guys are really good flankers because they, and I'm getting rid of the brown dice, I'm not a big fan. They get 4 rending attacks, so they're going to really hurt these Phoenix Guard. So you need 4s to hit. Not a very good roll, but pretty average. The rend here, so they'll have to roll 5s on these and 6 on that. And they failed 3 and 6. Oh, they actually got the 6, but 3 doesn't matter. They're wiped out. And so the flanking attack actually does work this time. And because they're able to get that, they're going to rotate this way, and they still have their regeneration. So that's good on them. So now it goes back to the High Elves. The High Elves really only have 1 real attack to go. They can go here, or they can go here. Yes, they can flank attack the birds here. Unless I want to turn these guys around, and then they'll just fly over them again. So yeah, the flyers are pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with the owls. They didn't look good on paper, but you put them on the board, they're pretty good. So these guys are in no man's land. They're going to pick up the objective, but 7 can't quite reach because of the terrain. And I don't know if they want to go after those guys. I think these guys are just going to have to deal with it until these guys come around. So the lions are going to go ahead and flank the birds. That's what I'm going with. And so they're going to get 10 attacks. No AP or anything like that. The birds have a defense of 4, if I'm not mistaken. The snow owls, yep. And they don't have any AP, but they get 10 attacks for just their 5 guys. 5 guys birders, so here we go. Oh wait, they hit on 3s, that's right. And so they missed once. Okay, and now it's 4s to defend. Yikes. That blocks, so that's a dead owl, that's a dead owl, and that's an owl that has 1 left. So that was a very fortuitous shot there. So this guy survives for now. Doesn't get a counterattack. These guys are toast. Man, just look at these high elves go. And so he's going to roll to see if he needs a 4, 5 because he's being flanked. Doesn't get it. And just like that, the lions take out the owls. So that was a really good flank attack. Wonder what they would have done against these guys though. Probably would have wiped them out, but I'd much rather get rid of those guys than those guys right now. Those guys are really causing havoc. These guys are going to come in and mess up my guys over here, but that'll be next turn. Alright, so we go to the wood elves, and after what they just saw, should I go after... I'm going to activate these guys right here. And they're going to shoot. Who would be the best target? They're ineffective against them. They could really do damage against them. But I need to whittle these guys down. So I'm going to go after these guys here. They got lower defense anyway. So I need force. There we go. 4 hits. And so the warriors have 5 defense, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they do. 5 defense. And they block 2, but they are going to lose 2 guys to fire. I'll put the leader up here where he belongs. And that'll do it for the scouts. So now the only thing that's left really are these guys right here. Now they can go in. Let's see, they need to stay on 3 to secure that objective. And so they're just going to basically go right over here and just keep their tippy toes on the 3. And that'll be their turn. And finally, the last thing that the wood elves can do is go ahead and charge these warriors right here. Do a nice little counterattack. They are straight up in their face. High elves are going to get high prowess. However, they are tired. Forgot about that. These guys are tired, so they're not going to do much back. So the wood elves have a real golden opportunity to really smash into the high elf line here. And so they're going to get, let's see, defenders get 1 attack each. I keep forgetting to do the sergeant. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the sergeant, hold on a second, let me get these dice here. So the white is going to be the sergeant. And then the leader, the glade leader, is going to be the brown, but they're all pretty much the same. They're all going to hit on 4s except for the sergeant, which is going to be a 3. They have no AP, and the battle call doesn't work outside of terrain, so they need 4s except for the sergeant. Alright, so no good, no good, no good. Alright, so they hit 6 times. These guys defend on 5s. And they defend that one, so they lose 5 guys. Alright, so these guys lose this rank right here, plus 1 of their guys. Let's see if they can hang in there. Alright, so they've got their champion. So this will be the champion. They've got the leader, who has 3 attacks, and he's got AP 1. Alright, so we got the sergeant, the leader, and then 2 guys. Okay, so the leader hits on 2s, These guys hit on 3s. That's no good. Everything else is good. These guys, they have an AP of 1, so that I need 6s there, 5s here. Okay, those 2 hit. That blocks it. So we're going to lose 4 guys. That's 4 losses for the Wood Elves. Come on, guy. And 5 for the High Elves. High Elves lose. They do have a banner, and the leader is quality 3. So if they roll a 1, they're gone. Otherwise, they're good. And they rolled a 2. Good thing they had the banner and the leader. Makes these guys stick. So that is a huge advantage for these guys. They are able to stay in the... Oh! Sugar! They're tired! Dang it! Alright, well they're going to stick in the fight anyway. But let me re-roll that because I don't remember the rolls. I'm sorry. So maybe the Wood Elves don't take as much damage as we thought. So they had 2 of these guys, they had 3 of these guys, and 1 here, right? And 2 regular guys, the leader and the sergeant. So the leader is the only one that's going to be different. He's got AP 1. Everybody's hitting on 6s. All right, well there's 3 hits. There we go. And then defense, that would have been on 6s, so they lost 3, so they get 1 back. That did make a difference. Not a huge amount, but 1 guy. Never know when 1 guy's going to make the difference. All right, so we now have these guys eliminated. Oh, I almost forgot the regeneration. Do I get those 3 guys back? Need 5s. I get 1 guy back. All right. Never know when 1 guy's going to make a difference. Right there. And then they back off. So regen is used up here. All right, so I believe that's the end of turn 2. Very bloody turn 2. So 2 is not being contested at all. 1 is being contested, and 3 has been taken by the High Elves. Let's see, which one is 3 here? That's 2. That's 3, so we'll say this is 3. Alright, so the High Elves now have 2 objectives, and the Wood Elves only have 1. However, they seem to be in a more commanding space because these guys can still shoot at will. They're in no position to fight. They're in a position to fight, and they're going to get the first turn. So I am going to say that these guys right here are going to slam into the warriors right off the bat. And I don't know if these guys are going to really play much more into it unless they come back and face off on these guys, which is going to open up this one to the scouts taking. We'll see. So I don't know. I'd rather be the High Elves right here because we're going to get this big old charge into their biggest unit right now, and they are going to absolutely maul them, I'm going to say. Now the brutes will have a chance to wipe these guys out, and they probably will, but will they be able to hold against these guys? I doubt it. Not without a flank charge. Alright, so these guys are gonna, this is turn 3. Dragon Knights coming in to absolutely obliterate the warriors. So we're looking right here. The warriors, so let's see, that should be 5 impact hits. Need to go once. They all hit. Impact don't do any AP. Defenders defended 5. They defend 1, so that's 4 dead. So this whole back row is already gone before they even get a chance to swing. Yeah, I don't think this is a good situation. And then they're going to hit with their lances. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The leader gets an impact, and he hits. But they do defend. Okay, good. Okay, so that worked out. Now for the lances. Dragon Cavalry, they get 1. The High Noble gets 3 and an extra AP, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be on 6s anyway. So I'm just going to do them all together. So it's going to be 5, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They are going to hit on 2s because they have lances. And they hit every single one, and then 6s. 3 defense, nice. But they lose 5, which means that the regular guys are dead, and the leader has 1 wound. Just put that there because I think they're going to run off the board right now. So the leader has a quality of 4. Glade leader has quality 4. The banner is dead, so they need a 4. He doesn't get it, so these guys are complete and utter toast, as I predicted. That's not good. And then, should they turn? I think they're just going to stay in this direction and move 3 inches forward. Well, you know what? I'm going to have them turn a little bit. Show your back to the scouts. Utter contempt. All right, I think the Treeman Brutes would then go next and have to take out these warriors. They're really good at taking out warriors, so let's see. That'll be 1 more. So they hit on 4s. They have no AP, but they have rending. All right, so 2 rends, 3 misses. So 3 regular. This is, they need 5s. They fail 3, so all the regular guys die. Now it's just up to the hero. The hero has a defense of 4, but the Wrens take it away. He needs 6s, so he takes 2 damage. And then he needs a quality of 3 to stick, but he's flanked, so 4. And he gets it. So the leader sticks. And that just means he's going to be kind of in the way. Of that. So these guys are done. The battlefield is looking pretty scarce right now. And you know what? He's just going to turn and hit them in a YOLO Leroy Jenkins moment. He gets 3 attacks, AP1, needing 3s. Has high prowess, so he needs 2s. 2 hits. They need 5s or 6s and miss them. And then the regen, they fail them both. And so they lose 2. Now they'll have to return fire on 6s. So that's 6, 8. Rending is still 6s. So they get 2. Need 6s, and the guy dies. So there we go. Just wanted to inflict some damage and clear the way, really, for this charge to happen. Yeah, I think the Treeman Brutes are in a world of hurt. And right now the scouts are going to try to take out as many lion warriors as possible. They get 5 attacks, needing 4s. They hit 3 times. And I believe they defend on 4s, if I'm not mistaken. The lions, and they're protected, but there's no AP there, and so they're going to lose 3 guys. So let's see. If I were them, I'm going to lose the champion. So lose those 2 guys because, oh, no, they just lose their regular guys off the end. I'm sorry. So they keep the champion. So they took 2 damage. So 2 regular guys. So just the command staff is ready. And they're the last one, so they're going to go, let's see, 6, turn, and then 6. So they're going to end up right over here. I don't think they're going to be able to do anything except stop a charge or the scouts from stealing that objective. And so the High Elves at the end of turn 3 are holding onto 3 objectives. The Wood Elves just have 1. It is not looking good for the Wood Elves, although they will get first turn, and these brutes can go after... They can go after the Dragon Princes before they get slammed. And you know what? That might be the best way to do things here. So let's pull all these things. The brutes are really the only chance. I'm going to go for a tie. Watch this move. So these guys can move 6. Oh. Can they get 6 inches and still shoot? I believe they can. Yes. So they will get right on the edge here, shoot the warriors. They gotta really nail them here. So they get 5 shots, needing 4s. Odds are they're not gonna get it, but... All right, so they get 4 hits, needing 4s to block. And they lose 3, so the scouts are gonna steal this objective and secure a tie, basically. Now these Dragon Princes are going to come in, and they are going to absolutely obliterate these guys while holding on to this objective. So that's going to be 6 impact hits. And so 1 misses. They get defense on 5. So 3 damage, so that's 1 guy's down to 1 wound. I'm just going to do the leader. He has 3. And then needs 6s. So the brutes are dead. And so that's going to end the game because there's only 1 unit for each side. The High Elves hold on to objective 1 and 5. However, the Wood Elves are going to steal objective 3 and secure a tie, which is good on the scouts. I've never been a big fan of scouts, but in regiments, I think they're, a lot of these units that you kind of discount in the regular Age of Fantasy game, you don't do that with the regiments game. Obviously, this was their most powerful unit, the Dragon Princes. Not the most powerful unit in the scouts, but they turned out to be the MVP. They took out the lions. They took out. They took that last objective to secure a tie, 2-2, and that's how regiments is working. I love. It feels elegant. It feels like I'm really coming up with tactics. The downside is that I don't think it's very good for solo play, and that's unfortunate. Because you have so many tactics at your disposal. It's not just moving, okay, these guys need to move here, take an objective, shoot at these guys, or attack these guys. It's not as simple as that, so we're going to have to come up with have to come up with a better solo technique, maybe certain formations, pre-planned strategies that they're going to use against you. Maybe when you make a list, you come up with what's the strategy. You have a tier list of, which strategy would they most likely use with this list. An echelon, a flank attack, a wedge, whatever it is. So all this is still developing in my head, but I think it's very promising. Thanks for watching.